ladies, this is Breanna from howtoblackhair.com, and I want to show you for beginners exactly how to do traditional cornrow braids. Subscribe to my YouTube channel to watch me break down more hairstyles for beginners so that you can do them on yourself for free. One of my YouTube goals is to get my channel to 500,000 subscribers, and I'm more than halfway there because I currently have 378,000 subscribers. So subscribe so we can go ahead and get started with this look. To begin, you're only going to need a few supplies to do this look for this style. And you're only gonna need about 2 bundles of braiding hair. That's it, you don't need much hair. I've already braided most of my hair, and as you can see, I have a large chunk of hair left, and I'm gonna be demonstrating how to do it with red braiding hair. The first thing you want to do is go ahead and begin removing your ponytail holder safely from your hair so that you can use your wide tooth comb to detangle and prep your hair for braiding. So now after detangling, you want to take the end of your rat tail comb and you want to make sure that you follow the parting of your braids. Now I could have easily done my cornrow straight to the back, but to make things a little more interesting, I wanted to add a zigzag braid pattern. So in order to do zigzags, as you can see here, you're just zigging and zagging your parting. And make sure that you're following the parting that you have for your previous braid so that you have a baseline as far as how you need to actually part your curves. And always move your hair from side to side so that you can double check to see if the width of your parting is just right. Once you finish parting for your braid, you're just gonna grab your ponytail holder and you're gonna secure the rest of your hair out of the way. And now that we're done parting, this is how one side of your part should look. So I'm just stretching my hair apart just a little bit to show you how defined you need to have for your parts look very clean. Now this is how the other side of my part looks as well, and then when I move my hair, you can see that I have the same amount of consistency of hair on my scalp for my braid. You want to make sure to clip any excess hairs out of the way so that your braids are very neat, and you're going to take your wide tooth comb to further detangle your section. Make sure you get very close to your roots so that way it's thoroughly smooth. And we're going to use edge control to slick down the very front of our braid. You only need about this much. So now taking the end of your rat tail comb, you're gonna part out a small piece of hair in the beginning. This is the starting point for your braid. And then you're gonna prepare the braiding hair in your hand. So you're gonna grab a large chunk of hair and divide it into 2 pieces. Make sure that one piece is actually a third of the size of the original piece of hair you have here. So you have a third and 2/3 of the size of hair. Grab that smaller piece and wrap it around the bigger piece. So that way that third smaller piece is the third leg of your braid. So you're gonna pinch the hair with one hand and use your other hand to actually hold the bigger half. Then after you do that, you twirl your hand underneath, you open your pincher finger and thumb to secure that second leg in between your fingers. Your pincher and thumb is where you're going to add legs of your real hair into your braiding hair to form your braid. When you add hair, it goes here in between your pincher and your thumb, which is your index and your thumb. Taking your left hand that's free, you're gonna use your pincher and thumb open up to grab that first piece of hair. And that's the hair that's going to the middle leg. So now you see me holding and rotating those 2 legs so that I can hook the outer leg as you see here. This is how you interlock the legs to begin forming your braid. You always wanna make sure whichever hand has 2 pieces of hair, you twirl it going outwards away from the other leg so that you can turn the middle leg to an outside leg. And then every time you add hair from your scalp, make sure it's directly underneath your fingers. If you do not do this, it will cause you to have a lot of tension at the very beginning of your braid. That causes a lot of hair bumps and hair loss and traction alopecia, and you don't want to have any of that happen. That's why it's very important that every time you're rotating your hands, you're always grabbing hair right underneath the braid so that the tension is very even throughout the entire braiding process. So if you don't fully get how to do it yet, it's just perfectly fine. I just want you to continue watching as I give you tips along the way so that you can understand exactly how to braid. Now, every time you rotate your hands and you have one of your hands free, you want to make sure that you grab the hair going outwards so the outer leg has to turn and become the inner leg, and you have to keep alternating back and forth so that you can create the braid. So as you can see here, I'm rotating my right hand to hook that outer leg, and I'm doing the same to the other side. And then you want to make sure also that you're smoothing your hair along the way so that your real hair doesn't stick out and look lumpy. You want your braids to be very smooth, and that comes from making sure that you're not only crossing the legs, but that as you're doing it, you're smoothing your hands down the hair so that your hair and the braiding hair is smooth every time you overlap legs to form your braid. To make sure all of your braids have the same thickness, pinch off a little piece of braiding hair from a neighboring leg to add to that leg, and then just continue braiding as normal. You will not see the difference once your braid is finished whatsoever. So now you're just going to continue braiding, making sure that you always overlap one leg over the other. You're only going to be overlapping the outer legs, not the middle leg. The middle leg becomes the middle leg because you overlap the outer leg over the middle leg. So just make sure that as you're watching, you're listening along as I'm explaining how you want to braid, and you actually practice this yourself, because the best teacher truly is practice. Make sure you're practicing this on a mannequin head or your head so that you can perfect doing cornrow braids, because this is the base of almost every single hairstyle. We're almost done with this braid, but I have to show you a difference between this style and this style that you see here. This is what you call invisible cornrows, and this is a typical cornrow that everyone thinks of, but this is not the traditional cornrow. In order to do this style, you have to feed in pieces of hair along the way. I already did a tutorial on that look, so go ahead and check it out on my channel after watching this. For now, I'm getting back to the braid, and I'm gonna show you how to extend the length of your braids. You always want to grab the same thickness of hair, and you want to hook it underneath your index finger so that you can feed it into your braid. This is very similar to doing the invisible braiding technique, but the beginning is a lot different. That's the hugest difference between this and invisible braid. So now, after freeing that hand again, you're gonna hook it underneath your index finger again and then continue braiding. Every time you add braiding hair, you want to make sure that when you hook it under one of your hands, which was my left hand, you're gonna braid a couple times to free your right hand again so that you can grab the remaining leg to add it into your braid. That's exactly how you extend a cornrow braid. It's super easy. So I'm just continuing to braid all the way to the end, making sure that I'm always feeding hair from my scalp directly into the braid, which is located underneath the braid. You don't want to pull hair that's too far away because it causes the front of your braid to pull a lot on your roots. Now you're just going to continue braiding and smoothing down, and as you can see here, this is even a more clear way to show you how the outer leg always becomes the middle leg. And then to also make your braids very even in thickness and to reach the bottom, just pinch off a little bit of hair from one of your neighboring braids so that you can continue to braid all the way down to the ends. So now that the cornrow braid is finished, I hope the red hair really helped you to see the difference between the braiding hair and my hair so that you can see everything very clearly. So if you really appreciate this tutorial for beginners, be sure to give me a thumbs up to let me know that you want to actually see more videos like this. It's very important that you master doing cornrow braids because it serves as the base from so many styles ranging from sew-ins to crochet. I mean, the list is endless, and you can be so creative with your parting to create such gorgeous looks like this. Thank you for watching my tutorial, and I can't wait to show you more. Be sure to subscribe and thumbs up so that you can actually see more videos from me. I'm currently at 378,000 subscribers, and one of my YouTube goals is to get my channel to 500,000 subscribers. I'm more than halfway there, so I know with your help, we can make it happen with this channel. So if you want to see more, leave some comments down below to tell me what styles you want to see next, and be on the lookout for my next video. Bye-bye.